guys, this is Kuldeep again, and in this video, I have interviewed Ishita, who just got a scholarship from Google, and she is about to give an interview for the Google again. So, if you want to know about how you can get this same kind of scholarship, or if you want to know about how you should prepare for the open source, or how you should prepare for the next scholarship of Google, you can watch this video.
Google WE Scholar. So it's the Women Engineers program, which is run by Google and by Talent Sprint. So I'm a scholar there as well. And yeah, like that's it. I like web development. I'm currently exploring ML also. Yeah.
Okay. And you are in third year,
Second.
second year. Yeah, with Ahana. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I am Kuldeep, the founder and CEO of StudNet. We are an edtech platform where we help students to um, achieve the goal for which they joined their CS degree for now. For now,
Okay.
we are just for the CS degree, but later we are planning to go with different branches of engineering.
All right.
And these guidance talk for to let our student know what is happening in the
Mm.
world, because we have these students mostly from LPU right now, and they
Okay.
don't know much about like hackathons, Google, and such programs.
Okay.
That is why we organize these talks to make them understand and have an idea of what's happening outside the world,
Right.
not outside the world, outside the LPU.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So we will start at 6:05 when people will join, and Aditya will be recording our conversation.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So you are from Delhi only? Okay,
Yes.
I got it.
Okay. So, like, you'll ask me question by question, or should I start explaining the generation?
So yeah, so first you can introduce yourself, then you can tell them about your journey from your school, then your 12th, then this till second year. Then we can start with the questions.
All right. Okay. So, hi everyone. I am Ishita Gupta, and I'm currently in my second year of IGDTUW. I'm pursuing CSE. So, I think right when I had entered in high school taking PCM, so it was ingrained into me that it's IIT, work for IIT. So yeah, that's what everyone in my class, me, everyone in my coaching, we all were working for that. And then it just happened that J came and the lockdown wave came, so a lot of things changed. So yeah, finally, like I mean I chose that I'll prefer my stream more over anything, so that's why I took CSE here at IGDTUW. Now, so again, my first year, I think, for those of like, are all of the people here freshers, or they're second years as well?
So they are freshers, second year and third year.
Okay, all
Some
right.
are from diploma as well.
Okay. So actually, I think, like, I think freshers plus even the second years would sort of like realize that our first years were really like crushed because it was almost like 1 year was being covered in 6 months. So the semester that was lost was being covered up. So again, it was like a rush. But then I would say that don't try to miss out on things because first year is reduced. I personally felt like it was less time to achieve the things which my seniors had done, maybe because they had like an entire year for themselves. But still it was possible, because of which in my first year itself I could bag the Generation Google scholarship. When I had applied for it, like I mean in 2021, it was for both like first year and second year students. So I was one of the four people from the APAC region who could get that scholarship in first year. The rest of the people were second year students. This year, they had a lot of changes in the Generation Google scholarship. That is, this time it was open for both men and women as well. And at the same time, it was only for second year students. So it hasn't completed yet, like this year's scholarship round, but that's why I'll give you the light on how this year's rounds were conducted. So yeah, and now I'm in second year, and I am also a Google WE scholar. So it's a women engineers program for freshers. It's a 2 year program that starts in your first year. So it's again a program which is run by Google and by Talent Sprint. So in fact, for the freshers who are women here, you should look out for the women engineers program, because they might be starting their application for freshers again for this year. So you should look out for that. Yeah.
I have a question. Can boys also apply in that women program because there is just one woman?
No,
Yes,
not for
yeah,
women
okay,
engineers. For Generation Google, you can, but not for women engineers.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
And is there any requirement that only BTech students from BTech will apply, or diploma will can also apply? Students who are in diploma.
Actually, they keep changing their eligibility criteria. I mean, literally each year they bring something new. So, like last
Okay.
year, it was mostly computer science and related fields were allowed. So, like a lot of people who were from civil or something, they weren't really allowed. This year, allowed men, but at the same time, they also sort of became pretty like branch specific. So
Hmm.
a lot of people who were from electronics in my college did not get a mail for further rounds. So CS people got it. So yeah, like they keep changing it. So I think, but I feel like if you're in a CS background, so you're safe. Like you will be mostly eligible each time.
Okay. And about this Google scholarship, is it just to get the fee, just to take your fees from Google, or is there any other benefits? Like why did you apply?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll tell you how I got to know about it and the benefits for it. So firstly, I got to know about it because it was available on LinkedIn as soon as the applications had opened last year. So I could see it on LinkedIn, and in fact, my seniors had conducted a lot of sessions wherein they were sort of explaining us everything about the scholarship. So I think the number one reason I wanted to apply was that it was Google. Like I think it was my first reason, simply that okay, I will have a brand like this attached. So that was my clear cut reason, number one. Number two is that yes, you have like a good scholarship amount that you're given. So you're given 1,000 USD, which is like almost 70,000 rupees INR that you get. So of course, the scholarship money is great as well. Uh, the next thing is again that you get some really nice swags. Like we got a Google Nest, we got like a lot of different, we got this whole swag box, so that's also good. And lastly, I feel like the most important thing is that you genuinely find yourself like a community of so amazing people, because they usually select 70 people right from APAC region. So you will actually see that, I mean, of course, you'll see like Indians, you will see people from Thailand, there were people from Singapore. So it's like this international community that now you're a part of, 70 people, all of who've been selected out of a lot of so many students. Like last year there were almost 10,000 people who had applied, and they selected 70 out of them. So you sort of also get this level of achievement. Like you do feel this confidence boost that if Google could recognize you and could select you, that means that okay, there is something, you do get this confident like boost. So that was one thing. And yeah, the community support, like even now we have these groups that we have, and every time like there is an opportunity, someone will share it on that group, and people will help each other out. So like during into I mean, last year I was in first year, so it was not of lot of use to me, but there were a lot of second year students, right? So usme, when they had their internship season coming around this July, so they were helping each other out a lot, like what are the topics you should practice on, what are the companies they're applying in, and how are they doing it. They organized some study sessions together. So those were the things that are also great, because you get a lot of support. And one last thing, what they often do is that they, after you're selected, they have a scholarship retreat that they have. So when like it was like the pre-COVID times, they used to actually have an offline retreat, which was so great, because you were like all 70 people were invited to one country in the APAC region. Like one year it was Australia, year it was Singapore as well. So you're invited for like 7 days to just have, an amazing time. You're invited to the Google's office. You're invited for a lot of dinners. In fact, I was reading some blogs. There was, I think they'd gone to Korea like in one year. So they organized this whole treasure hunt in one city, where they all the scholars were sort of divided into teams, and they were going. So it's like a lot of team building activities, and a lot of sessions by Googlers. So this year we had all of it online, but even that was nice. Like there was so many sessions in which the topmost people from Google were giving their sessions. They were talking about resume building sessions. They were talking about the art of clean coding. We had one session in which they were literally showing questions from like the most popular questions in Google Kickstart, which is a coding competition of Google, and they were trying to solve it with us together. So these are the good things. Am I missing something? Yeah, one last thing that I'm missing, that
Mhm.
they also have like a mock interview round. So basically what they do is that before you have a major interview coming up, so like again for the second year students, it was like July is the time for your internships, July August, right? So in the July beginning, they actually conducted mock interviews for all the people. A Googler was conducted them, so that before they ever face a real interview, they sort of have an idea of what really happens. So that's also great. Like a Googler is conducting your interview. So yeah.
Okay. Now, to people like those who have joined us, as I told you in our previous talk, that the reason we are doing this is to let you know what's happening outside the LPU, which is right now your only world. Okay. Now, you guys might have only focusing on your DSA, your competitive programming, or building your portfolio, but these are some of the quirks you can say that you don't know. Maybe you don't know, or maybe you have no one have told you yet, that these are something that a CS student needs to do once in their life, right? Because working, you don't, it's not necessary that maybe you will work with Google, maybe you will not work in Google, but these are the opportunities that you, at least you should try to grab in order to get a contact with Google, what it feels like to work or get associated with such a big company. Because just the name in your resume that you have been gotten a scholarship from Google, or you have been associated with someone from Google is a good enough eye-catching thing where recruiter can just take you out from a herd of resumes, right? Now, maybe like I don't know if you actually know what this scholarship is or what are these programs that Google provide. Even I also don't know much about it because I'm not from CS, I'm from mechatronics. So maybe Ishita, you can tell them that what are the things that they should look after, maybe joining the first year only. What are the programs that Google or Microsoft or Facebook provide to these students? So let's
Okay,
start from
yeah.
first year. Like you joined yourself, then how did you came to know all these things? So,
Right. Okay. I'll tell. So, like, not just Google in general, the opportunities that I think are coming to my mind, right? Okay. Yeah, there's one question as well. We have to study to crack next. So, like, you mean as internship, Shivam, or you mean like scholarships or such programs?
Internship, ma'am.
Okay, so for internships, honestly, I think I mean, I personally haven't given an internship round yet. Mine will also start in July only. But I would personally say that everyone is always says that your coding needs to be the best in when you're talking about internships and all of that. Of course, your resume needs to be great, because if you'll be, shortlisted out of a pool of candidates for an interview, they need to see something good in you in your resume itself. So there comes the idea of getting achievements which sort of make you stand out, like these programs or some sort of scholarships by big companies, because that really helps in actually making you make your resume stand out. Ultimately, jab interview hoga, then it's just your coding that's going to, take you through. But before that, the process is simply to sort of get like explore different skills for a good set of projects, try for different scholarships and different programs, because that is obviously going to be the key in helping you stand out. And yeah, and when it comes to the interview part, then it's DSA. It's definitely DSA. Try practicing a lot on lead code, do a lot of contests which come. I mean, if you guys are competitive programmers, then I mean, contests and all. Personally, I'm not into competitive programming. I just like going on lead code and just like sitting for 2 hours and finishing some set of questions like that. I like doing it like that. But yeah, the idea is to keep practicing every type of data structure and do it regularly. Like just doing it, I think 2 months before the internship season, and trying to start everything together might be difficult. So start now. Do it, start it now and do little by little, so that by the end you know that you've got a good grasp on everything. Yeah.
Yes, can you please tell how you prepare for that?
So
Like, what do you specific study for that internship?
yeah, so I mean, I still am, because I will be getting my internship season this July. So I honestly, I do DSA. I took a Coding Ninjas DSA course when I was in last year. I took it when I was in my first year. So I started off by doing that. So that was like the main thing that I used to do. And I would suggest you guys as well that when you guys start off like with DSA, try to take a course and stick to it, so that that sort of maintains that sort of uniformity ki, aaj you have your deadline, so you finish this part, now you'll finish pointers, now you'll finish hash maps, so like this. And do that. It'll take like some time, and after that, again, what I do is now that I go on lead code. I In lead code, you've got categories of data structures, so like I could click on again, I could click on linked list, and you'll have like this whole list of questions which lead code has. So make it a point to solve, like make it, fix it ki, okay, 10 medium, 10 you 10 medium, 20 easy, and 5 hard. Like that's what I do, because I am still learning, I can't do hard a lot abhi. So yeah, like just make it a point to do every category's question. Do it in a fixed amount of time. That is really important, because in an interview you don't have all day, you have a stipulated amount of time to finish two questions. Like usually it's two questions in 45 minutes. So try to sort of you know uh, make your speed a part of your skill set as well. So that's, again, it's just simply practice. And yeah, other than that, again, brushing and polishing your resume, because of which again I personally I keep looking for scholarships, or I keep looking for certain different mentorship programs. You have so many mentorship programs which are sort of available by different companies. Like Microsoft has this program called Microsoft Engage, which is also something that's going to start in a couple of months, I think. So again, that is like a sort of program in which they take a couple of students, and then you're mentored, and then you're also, if you do well, you're straight away given like an internship offer. So these are the things that one should look out for. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, Nilesh, we didn't understood your question. Can you repeat that? Explain it a bit more.
I think he's
How the process,
yeah, like the
that generation Google scholarship, how?
Okay,
hmm.
that generation. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So basically, the scholarship had 3 rounds. I mean, it still has 3 rounds. The number one is your application filling part. So what happens here is that you have to fill your basic details, name, branch, everything, all of that. The two main things that you're supposed to fill in your application is number one, your transcripts. So that's something that you have to get from your university. The second thing that you have to fill, which is like the most crucial thing, is your, oh sorry, resume, and the most crucial thing is your essays. So what happens is that resume, you have to make it and then you have to submit it, and you've got two questions in the generation Google scholarship. Mostly they're like, questions such as explain a leadership initiative that you took, or they'll sort of ask you some maybe some sort of question like, what do you think is a challenge that is usually faced by, you could say, vulnerable communities or underrepresented communities in the tech field, in the, you could say, the engineering field. So like, these were the kind of questions which came last year, and I think this year they were similar as well. So you are supposed to answer two questions in the format of an essay. The limit is usually 300 to 400 words, and you're supposed to upload them in your application. So these are the three things which you're supposed to upload: your transcript, your resume, and your essays. And your essays are the most important component of this scholarship, and not just for this scholarship, but in general. Wherever you have an essay, essays are always the most important thing usually, and I'll come back to that later as to why, like, they're important and how do you like work on that. But like, that is the first part. Then you apply, and it is after a month or something. No, wait, sorry, the second part after you apply is you getting a coding challenge link. So you get the link, actually, I'd say in a week or 10 days, but the result for that you get after a month or something. So yeah, the second part is simply you getting a coding challenge link. So what happens there is that you have to solve a certain coding question in a stipulated amount of time. So like last year, I personally had like one round of aptitude test in which it was like mental ability questions, and then it was a coding challenge where it was questions about C++, about data structures, about computer fundamentals. So I had that. But this year they actually changed it. This year there was no aptitude test. This year there was simply a coding round. So I think it was on Hacker Earth, where you got the link for that. And then you had two questions, out of which you were supposed to solve one. So you were supposed to code it entirely and make sure that all the test cases are getting passed. The time limit was 1 hour, and then when you click submit, that was it, like that was your coding round. So in coding round, mostly they ask you DSA. So personally, this year when I was looking at people applying, I think they mostly got questions from arrays or strings. So it was not like very tough. They were good level questions of arrays and strings, but it's not like that there was some other data structure involved. So that was the coding round. Now what happens is that after the coding round, they take a month or something, and that is where they do the major shortlisting part. So uske baad what happens is that they will send mails to a couple of selected people, where they will give them the link for interview, like they will take your interview there. So now basically your essays, your resume, and your coding challenge, all these three things are sort of looked at together, and on the basis of that they finally decide who are the people they want to finally interview. So that is the round 3 where you'll get your interview mail. So a major amount of shortlisting happens there. And post that, the interview is basically an HR based interview. Like, they sort of want to know you. They'll again ask you about your leadership initiatives. They'll ask you, what do you think means to be a GGS scholar? Um, they'll ask you your passion for computer science. So basically, all the things that they're looking for in a candidate, which is passion for computer science, leadership, ability to help people, all those things are sort of going to stand out in the interview. And on the basis of that, they'll make your final decision, and then it takes another month where they send you the final mails to the ones who are selected. So ultimately they usually select 70 people.
Oh, I was thinking that they are doing that much of hard work for scholarship only. How much they are gonna do for the actual interview, job interview?
Yeah, seriously. Like, I mean, I think in general they have a number of rounds, but actually, I think even for internships, the rounds goes like these only. That first you have your resume shortlisting, then there is something known as an online challenge again. So the ones who get shortlisted in resume sort of have to go through this online coding round and challenge, and then from that you get your interviews again. So I think, yeah, everywhere I feel, especially I feel in good companies, the any program that they have, it has like at least 3 4 rounds, because they really want to keep on filtering and take people who are left at the end. So yeah.
Okay. There is this weird question now. I have seen on Twitter that most of the students from this Indira Gandhi University have at least either one of the company from the FANG. Why is this like this? Like, is there any specific favoritism towards the Indira Gandhi University by them, or you guys know something that we don't know?
I don't think that there is a favoritism. I just feel that I mean, I just think that in general, right now, our university is, I mean, it's relatively new as compared to, I'd say, the, like, we're a part of Jack Delhi, right? Like DTU, NSUD, Triple IT Delhi, and IGDTUW. So as compared to all the other three ones, we are relatively new, because earlier IGDTUW was like under an IP one and everything, but when it came finally under the Jack Delhi one, so usme we are new. So we're actually, like, I feel everyone in college works like really really hard, and they've sort of gotten contacts everywhere. Plus, I think that I mean, in general, right now there is so much that is happening for diversity. So that I think in general they know that from here you're gonna get like the most amazing, like very intelligent people as well as diversity. So I feel like that, I guess.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because we have Ahana, we I have talked with Ishani as well. Then now you, Shita, because we have seen that you people are more aware about what are the things they are available for the CS branch in general, right?
Right.
And
I think that actually is another important thing, that I feel like even in my college, when I see, like, as soon as an opportunity comes up, it's like everyone shares it everywhere. And I think our seniors always make it a point, which we're now doing for our juniors as our freshers came, that I feel this sort of the alumni support, I feel, is getting like really strong, which I think should happen like everywhere else as well. So as soon as there is an opportunity that comes up, we are always, given sessions by our seniors who have cracked it before, who tell us how you're supposed to do it. They give us guidance. So I think that also is one important reason that opportunities aren't really missed out here, and I hope that like continues to happen. Touch wood. So yeah.
cool, great then. Now, in your first year, right now you like you told that you are learning web development and you're transitioning toward the ML, right? Machine
Yeah.
learning. So, and you're in second year.
Hmm.
Are you doing the plain CS or is there any major, like specific in AI, ML or
No,
DL?
planes, yes.
Okay, so you must be learning all these things by yourself, right?
I usually take courses, like I can't really go on YouTube and do it on my own. I need like deadlines and I need something, so I usually take courses. So for
Hmm.
web development, I took a Udemy course by Angela Yu. It was kind of nice. And then for ML, I applied for a scholarship test in Coding Ninjas and I got it, so I am doing an ML course from there.
Okay. So
Yeah.
in your that Google interview, did that help you while because in any way? Because I'm assuming that whatever they were asking, they must be by the curriculum of a second year student, right?
Actually, the what they asked was all HR based only, like it was not technical. So there
Okay.
was no like question. There were actually a few people who were asked questions from their projects. So that
Hmm.
actually depends on your interviewer. Like my interviewer was a talent hirer type, so she did not have a lot of technical like experience. So she was
Hmm.
asking me all HR based questions like leadership experience and what do you want to become, your passion for computer science and things like that. But there were actually a few people whose interviewers, they had technical experience. So when they looked at the resume, They looked at the projects, they asked questions from the projects as to which tech stack did you use, how did you solve this particular, let's say, issue or something. So that was also there. Yeah. But
Okay.
I think in general interviews do help you, because it's like, firstly, I think in general, before you're entering that G meet where you know a Googler is sitting, there is some sort of nervousness. But when you
Yeah.
learn how to deal with that, and to, be able to answer questions confidently when you're sitting in front of someone who's in a company like that, it gives you confidence. And also I think in general, application process in general is always like, it's long, but it's always helpful. Like in resumes, you learn to make your resume very early as compared to people जो बिल्कुल internship season से पहले बनाएंगे. तुमने पहले ही बना लिया होता है. So you only
Right.
have to like make edits and everything. So that's helpful. Yeah.
Cool. So let's go a little more back to your high school. In your it's build up Vidya Niketan, right?
Yeah.
You had in most of your schooling from there. So is
Yeah.
there any specific special thing about those schools? Because in our last talk with Gautam, he got an internship with a stipend of around 30 or 35K. So there he told us that he had been familiar with the Java programming since his school only. From 8th class till 10th he was doing that. So tell us about your school. How was your experience and what
Yeah,
was it?
so like I did study coding in school in 11th and 12th, but I think I mean, other than that, I don't personally feel that school actually was like a very big reason. I feel in first year there were a lot of things that I did which helped, which I'll talk about. But yeah, in school it was mostly that I took PCM with CS in 11th and 12th.
Oh,
So we were taught C++, plus plus, which is why I knew a lot of the things already when I
mhm,
came in college, because it's like a lot of people, they start with C++ from scratch in college. So they spend a certain amount of time in understanding the foundation of C++ before they can start with DSA, which is all about, your arrays and linked lists, trees and everything. So because I knew the first part already, so I sort of had a head start, I feel. So
mhm,
that actually helps if you've got, I think, a coding language you've studied in school. I think that really helps. Other than that, I think I also like, so when you're studying C++ in school, like in my school at least, at the end of 12th, you had to make a project. So it was like a simple Aadhaar card system type of management project, which I had. But the thing is that when I was giving my resume for GGS, let's say, so I
mhm,
wanted to have a project section, but I hadn't made any project in college yet because I was just in first year. Like we entered in college in December, because obviously everything was running late. We entered in December, and we had to apply for GGS in March. So within 3 months, I had just started. I had not done anything in college till that time. So that is why, because I had this project from school, I put that only. So I think
okay.
that helped. I had a project section which a lot of people did not have because they didn't make projects in 3 months, which was fine. So I think that is one thing that helped. And yeah, in general, I feel like you get a head start sometime, but it's not like crucial. It's not like if you haven't if you haven't studied in school, you won't really get anything, because ultimately it's like a matter of maybe 2 3 weeks where you get the hang of, your language, and then you start a DSA. So it's not very, like, I would say, imperative, but yeah, it helps if you have studied it in school.
Yeah, and I believe that the main thing that having a CS or a background with CS in your school helps you understanding if you really want to do the CS engineering or not,
Right.
right?
Yes. Yeah. That's really true. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So other thing is you are saying that we had to do those things. You had to apply. So who are we? Like, did you had a whole community who applied for that scholarship from your college? And if there are, how many of them got it?
Uh, so by we, yeah, I meant like in general, like we knew that there were a lot of people applying because, when we used to have sessions in my college, so there were
Hmm.
like a lot of people, 50, 60 people who would join, and, all of us in general wanted. So in my class, there were a lot of people. So I think a lot of people applied, and I think in second year, like from second year in our college, I think four people got it, 4 5 people got the scholarship. In first year I was the only one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great then. It's not about the college, it's more about your own personality that you will get the internship.
Yeah,
And sorry,
absolutely.
the scholarship, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a lot about what you're writing. Like, so like a couple of tips there. And in general, for a lot of scholarship programs, I'd say that when you're making a resume, so like this is what I feel personally, that of course when you're applying for internships and all, then your resume needs to be technical, right? Like it needs to have a lot of projects. It needs to have a lot of, I'd say, technical achievements. Ki, okay, maybe you won in this hackathon, or maybe this rank in a certain contest or something. It like it needs to show that you're a coder, I feel, in an internship. But when you're applying, especially for generation Google, I believe it was more of a scholarship which was for people who are interested in computer science but are also like passionate, and they're leaders. Like it was more of a leadership based one. So I feel like when you have a scholarship like that, especially because you're in second year, and mere time pe to it was like first year, so it was, you sort of know that they're not expecting a lot of technical achievements from you. So I feel what helped me was that my resume had a lot of leadership experience filled. So there was a lot of, society, like if you're a part of societies in your college, then you can mention what you're doing there, what is your work there, the role that you're doing. It always helps to have a certain NGO experience as well. Like if you're, working in any way to help someone underprivileged. So maybe if you've done it in school, maybe if you've ever done it apart from college as well. So in general, having some sort of volunteering experience, leadership experience, it always helps, because you're showing them that yes, you're leaders, and yes, you're passionate about community because you're helping others around you. So I feel that is what might have helped my resume, that I had a lot of it filled. I did not have a lot of technical stuff filled because again I was just 3 months into first year. So I just made sure that I fill every, like I filled everything. Like in school I was a part of my MUN club, and I had organized an MUN. I filled that. I filled details as to how many people had we invited, the conference, how did it go. I explained the societies that I was a part of in college. I was a part of this program wherein we were teaching young girls in high school, so I mentioned that. So that helps. Yeah.
So we have some students here from first year and some from second year, and in fact we have your both resumes with us. So I'll just screen share it here to show them how you changed it.
Right.
So this is a plain resume where mostly you have wrote your skills about normal C, C++. Of course, this is explainable why in first semester only you have they teach you at least one of these languages, Canva, great. Project management, team management, communication skills. So these are kind of skills that you can write based on if you have done something in your school or you have done something in an organization in your first year only. Because in
Yeah,
first year you can't write like web development or a particular stack. Okay,
exactly.
so
Like, well, if you
yeah,
know it, then it's good. But if you don't, then like I didn't at that time, so I just wrote it. But I feel like second year once, because from this year it only it was for second year students. So I mean, people could have written that they had
right.
web development or something.
Okay. And you add the project here, date and day calendar. Okay, so simple C project that's I think
Yeah, it
okay.
was like this is
95
such
can go through our
a
great. So some certificate as well. Yeah. So these are something that because when there was a time when we asked these students to show us their resumes, and most of them said that they are in first year and they would have nothing to write. But
hmm.
so this is what you can write in your own resumes of simple projects, project that you have made in your first semester C class, or some certificates that you have gotten either from Canva, GitHub, or anywhere. These are not necessary that you need to have certificates, but these show that you are learning something out of your own curriculum.
Exactly.
Now,
I mean, I think a lot of people in my batch they did not apply because they were just like they just felt that they hadn't done anything, so why should they apply? But I think that's like the worst thing. I mean, if you won't even look and if you won't even make an attempt to try, how will you get to know it? If even if you, let's say, don't get selected, you will at least reach up to some point. Ek to round hoga, you'll get some
Right.
experience. And yeah, like in my resume as well, it's just I literally found, the minute I found something which is at least a little bit decent, I put it there. And I mean, I simply had to fill my resume. That was my objective. So jo bhi mile, kuch bhi mile, डाल दो, at least apply to करो.
True.
Yeah.
ऑल्सो इस तुम्हारे उससे एक और एग्जांपल मैं देता हूँ कि मैं इंट्रोवर्ट हूँ, ठीक है, मेरे को ऐसे पब्लिक स्पीकिंग करनी नहीं आती है और मेरी पहले फटती थी ऐसे करने में. सो व्हाट आई डिड इन ऑर्डर टू गेट दैट फियर आउट ऑफ मी इज मैंने रैंडमली अप्लाई करना शुरू कर दिया shinejob.com रैंडम बुलशिट जॉब्स में, ठीक है, जस्ट टू गेट द एचआर टू कॉल मी एंड आई कैन टॉक टू हर. उनसे बात कर एटलीस्ट आई हैव टॉक विद एटलीस्ट 50 एचआरस एंड देन आई रियलाइज हाउ आई कैन मेक देम चूज मी, how I can make my own resume, how can I make my story based on what their requirement is. Then after that, like just after 20 or 50, 20 or 25 interviews, I started getting all the jobs. Like I have gotten the jobs on which I didn't actually had any skills.
Yeah,
It was just because I realized how you can convince another human. HRs are human, and you need to make your stories based on what they want to hear rather than what you can tell them.
exactly.
So let's see. In second year, you have made some progress with 5 years of learning French language. So 5 years, a long time. Wow.
Yeah, I started in my school.
Okay. Achievements. Yeah, you have added that achievement of getting this scholarship, Women Engineer Program, great. Stanford University Coding Ninjas. That. Okay, so you have added your certificates inside your achievement.
Yeah. Again, actually, to be honest, I just wanted to fill up the space. So I just, like, I think you should start off by mentioning things, like, always mention things in the order in which you want the people to read them. Like, your first
Mm.
point should always be like your biggest thing that you want to tell people. And it goes like this. So in the end, I always end up, if I have space, I'll just end up filling something like, like not useless, but something that I can still remove and not really care. But yeah.
All right, cool. So here one thing that we are also see whenever I interview or talk with people who have achieved something in their second year or third year, I have seen this pattern that they just choose one thing. Okay, either they do just the competitive coding and they become best in it, and then they get internship through that only,
Yeah.
or they just do the open source. Or first step is learning Git and GitHub, then they contribute in open source, then they join GSOC or MLH, right? So they continue in that particular path only, or they just focus on DSA and do some projects. These are the normal four paths that a CS student can
Yeah.
pursue, right? And but the problem that here we have with our mentees is that they want to do everything. They
Yeah.
want to make the clone apps. They want to make they want to make their stars on HackerRank and all those code stuff. They want to do the competitive programming. They want to do the DSA at the same time. Everything they want to do the everything at the same time. And when we tell them that these things are not necessary, then they show us that that particular YouTuber had told us to do these things.
Yeah. Honestly, I relate so much. Like, yeah, even I sometimes feel, and in fact, like, not just, yeah, so like you've got one path where you can just do DSA, you've got one path of open source. There are often now, because of, I think, the entire startup wave, even in a college, there is a lot of concept of like, okay, startup khulenge. So there is one path there. So in general, I feel like I always feel this. I think I still haven't like been able to get that complete decision that okay, I want this path. Even I like mujhe sab kuch karna hai. I want everything. But I think I feel like maybe in your first and second year you still have the scope of exploring, and I think that is what your first and second years are for. Like, I will not recommend you guys to stick to one thing right in first and second year where you'll have to मतलब बस शुरू कर ली कोडिंग तो बस अब यही करनी है और कुछ करना ही नहीं है. Do go and explore what open source is all about. Do go and explore other fields. There are people who get so like involved with just ML or just with the data science field that they're like उनको data analyst ही बनना है, उनको कुछ उसी field में करना है. So don't, I will not recommend you guys staying stuck in one field in first or second year. But I think when you come in third year, that is where you sort of have to make a decision. Like you sort of, need to work where you feel like you'll be best fit, and you will get to know that right if you explore in your first and second year. So yeah, like thoda thoda you can always try, I would say.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, do you guys have any other questions until they will write their questions? What's your plan for your third year now?
So there so I think firstly, like, to again like do much more coding than what I'm doing right now. I feel like,
Mm.
I think again getting back on track with the different data structure topics and working on that. That is the first thing. I think the second thing is again to build some projects in ML, because that is again something which I am currently like looking forward to. I at least just want that I have, like, a variety of projects which are present on my resume. Because often, you think of applying somewhere off campus, so udhar to your only savior is, before you get an interviewer, is your resume. So you should be able to sort of have that like different qualities in your resume that you can show different skills. So that is one thing. Yeah, and I'll tell you guys like maybe a couple of things which are probably coming up. I feel there are a lot of hackathons right now that are coming up. So there is one hackathon known as Smart India Hackathon. I got to know about it yesterday only, actually. But there's this one that is actually launched by government, and I've seen people winning it as well. So there is this, again, you're sort of, you get into teams and you're supposed to build a certain project in a stipulated amount of time. So I think hackathons in general are like, they're kind of good, because you learn to practice those skills that you're developing in a short amount of time. You get to build projects, and they look good in your resume if you participated in a good hackathon. So that is one thing. Another thing, I just need to check if it's for all people or just for girls. It's JPMC Code for Good. So this is, if you guys know JP Morgan, it's a very like famous firm. And again, it's also something which comes for internships. It takes summer analysts, and what happens is that they usually do their hiring through this hackathon, which is known as JPMC Code for Good. So what happens is that, again, it's actually a hackathon, but it has multiple rounds. Like, firstly, I think you have a certain test, like a coding round that you need to give or something. Then you have an HR based round where you have to answer certain, like, again, like HR based questions, like how do you think you're as a team player, what will you do if one of your team members doesn't work, something like this. Like, basically these questions to test how you are as a team person. That, and then you have this hackathon, which is usually a 24-hour hackathon, where you will be sort of divided into groups, and you have to code non-stop for 24 hours. Like, literally sona nahi hota 24 hours tak. And you have to build a project. And usually your problem statement is something which an NGO is facing. So like, you have like I say 3-4 NGOs or sometimes 7 NGOs which come, and they explain their problem. Like, let's say अगर मैं अंडर प्रिविलेज चिल्ड्रन टाइप के किसी एनजीओ में हूँ, आई एक्सप्लेन देम अ प्रॉब्लम कि मे बी हमें उन्हें कनेक्ट करने में डिफरेंट फैमिली से प्रॉब्लम होती है, समथिंग ऐसा कुछ है। तो तुम, योर टीम हैज टू चूज किस एनजीओ की प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट तुम्हें सॉल्व करनी है, एंड देन यू मेक अ होल सिस्टम ऑन इट। लाइक, यू विल मेक अ वेबसाइट और यू मेक एन ऐप, you integrate features in it, and you have to do all of this in 24 hours. Plus, you always have a mentor from your JP Morgan in the meet with you. So they're always seeing ki how you all are performing, तुम लोग कैसे like work कर रहे हो, are you able to deal with stress. So the ones who they feel are doing really well end up getting an offer from JPMC for internship, and it's a very good company. So that is one thing that you guys should look out for. And Microsoft Engage, that is also something which I think is going to come soon. I mean, I'm also looking forward to all these things. Yeah.
Okay. You actually gave this good idea that people like a student usually doesn't find a good project to make, right? So they can find the problem by asking NGOs, right? They
Yeah,
directly contact them, ask them, I can help you for free if you have any tech problem, and you can solve a real world problem that will give four, 5 stars to your resume. So this
exactly.
is one good thing we found from this talk.
Absolutely. And I'd recommend all of you, like, I hope everyone's on LinkedIn because I think that is one place where you instantly get to know about opportunities because, you'll have connections, the connections will share something or they like something and you can see what they've liked. So I think you get to know about a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn. And then just like, try to always go and contact people on LinkedIn itself. If you feel ki, you're getting confused or you sort of want a little bit of guidance, so like for example if it's generation Google Scholar, if you type it you will find people जिन्होंने अपने उसमें लिखा हुआ है intro में generation Google, and you'll find a list of people. So contact them, ask them about it, ask them for tips. Like I feel all of us, this year's generation Google Scholars haven't come out yet, like the third round still hasn't happened. So I remember that before everyone was applying, all of us scholars of 2021, we were getting messages on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, everywhere from people all across the country because they just simply wanted advice, they simply wanted help as to how you're supposed to do, and you should feel free to do it. Because if you ever feel that, I feel like it's the worst thing if you didn't know कि एक opportunity existed, या if you felt कि तुम्हें पता ही नहीं था कि उसमें करना क्या था. So always make sure that जैसे ही पता चले, feel free to ask people around and contact people, text them on LinkedIn. So yeah, that always helps.
Okay, you're gonna hear some noise because मेरा दूध वाला आ गया बाहर सड़क पे. So
Okay.
I'll just keep it mute.
Yeah. So like, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, so guys, like you can put your questions in the chat box.
Hmm.
We will be ending in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh,
So is there anyone in second year here who had applied for Generation Google?
Nah, I don't think anyone has applied yet.
So I think all the first years you should definitely apply next year.
So it's just for first and second year?
This year it was just for second year students. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we heard it for the first time from Ahana only.
Okay. 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 Yeah, but no, it's like next year. I hope first year students you should apply because you'll be in second year. So, no, in third year you can't.
But they can apply for Microsoft Engage. Just don't focus on Google only. There are other
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
letters in FANG.
yeah. There are, I mean, a lot of different companies.
Okay, so you're telling that there are programs for first years and second years. So there are children or students here who don't know anything about them and they want to apply for some programs in third year or fourth year. So how can they apply if there are any programs for third years or fourth years?
See, I mean, most of the mentorship programs and things which I know of right now, they are for first and second year because, like, personally, I am in second year right now. So, most of the things that I look at are of the ones that are eligible for, this time right now. But for third and fourth year, there are a lot of things which actually third and fourth years have to do or like can do, which first and second years can't. I mean, if any of you guys are interested in research, so you have a lot of different research opportunities which come up, even not just in India, but for abroad as well. Like for Singapore, you've got NTU and NUS, which are two very famous universities. Like they're worldwide known for computer science. So they have certain programs of research which they only allow third year students to do. So you can try for that. And in general, I feel for third year, it's like you have a lot of opportunities for internships and all. Like most of the openings that you have, it's for internships, they're open for third year students. That is why ये वाले programs are almost for first and second year more, because in third year you start doing internships, you apply for those more.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Yeah. So first, second year will get mentorship from them, and third year will get internship, fourth year will get job.
yeah.
But you will get the later thing only if you will follow the other three things properly.
Yeah.
Actually, the third year and fourth year students can apply for different competitions. Like there was one Flipkart hackathon. Now
Yeah,
there is a
Flipkart
Tata
Dreams.
Crucible.
Yeah.
Tata Crucible quiz is there. There are rewards up to 2.5 lakhs. Then there is Uber quiz going on. So like you guys need to stay up to date with that stuff.
Yeah.
There are a
I think
lot
it
of
always
platforms.
helps in following people of that year. So, if you feel that if you don't get access to information that's happening, then you should, I would say that that's the best thing, that you should be able to join like LinkedIn and follow people who you know are, who've, let's say, achieved a lot, or some, or maybe not achieved a lot, but in general, like, okay, maybe this is a third year student, and let's say first and second year may they got something, so most probably they will have information about what's coming up in third and fourth year as well. So follow such people, so that when they like something or when they post something, you can see it on LinkedIn as well, so that actually helps you in getting access to a lot of stuff.
So, in the end, I'll just show them your LinkedIn ID and I'll tell them what I like in it.
Yeah.
So this is her LinkedIn ID. You can see simply what one thing that she have achieved that should the recruiters know or whoever will land on her resume. She have written it. Okay. Then this is her experience, great mentorship, open source. These are the communities that she have joined or organizations with which she have worked in. Education simple. License certificate. These are also simple. One thing which I find good about your LinkedIn is the skills part. You have written only the skills that you actually know: public
Yeah.
speaking, leadership, and C++. I have seen people who have written so many skills in their resume that
Yeah.
it looks like I will never give them a job because they are not वो क्या कहते हैं उसको किसी एक के सगे ही नहीं हो किसी एक स्किल के तुम सेकंड ईयर में हो तुमने 50 स्किल डाली है हो ही नहीं सकता कि तुमने वो सब कुछ सीखा हो.
Absolutely.
So this is what I like about your resume: simple, elegant, and to the point. So other people who, if you will make these resume your LinkedIn ID, please make it as clean as possible and as to the point.
Yeah. Also, I have to can you share screen again? 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that, I mean, like, basic thing, but so as you can see on the right side, you will see like more connections. जो मेरे connections होंगे, but they will also have something similar, right? So this is how you can always expand your network. Like, you can send them a request. I mean, like, always, also when you're sending a request, sending a message along always helps, because then it stands out, because otherwise everyone has like a lot of requests. So
Yeah.
if you have a message, then it always sort of stands out and people tend to accept it. So I mean, just like, ये people also viewed me, या फिर people you may knew, which is the next column, you will find more people, and you can send them connection requests, because you want your connections to have different sort of skills or achievements, because the more they have it, the more access you'll get to information. So like, honestly, that's my pastime. I always just like going on LinkedIn and just talking people and seeing how they got something. Mostly everyone has a post in which they'll, mention what they've received or something, or they'll have it in their experience section. So I like doing that, because then I know that, okay, if this opportunity comes around, I will text this person and I'll ask them for this. So that's my pastime, actually, stalking people on LinkedIn.
Seems like you have more connections with girls. Our suggestions are girls here.
Yeah. Because I think I'm in a girls college, so
Yeah,
it,
okay, yeah, right. Good
yeah.
point. Great, then it's we are 1 minute ahead of the time. So thank you, Shita, for giving us this talk about your experience in Google and what these people can apply in. Okay. We
Abs-
hope that in the third year when you will get internship in Google, you will come back here. Best of luck
I
for that.
Let's hope. I really hope. And I hope that a lot of you guys as well. And yeah, I think, yeah, let's just hope everything goes well for the next years. Yeah.
Great. I have shared your LinkedIn ID with them. If they will try to connect or ask some questions, you can help them. Just don't be too clingy. She is busy working for the internship, trying to get into Google. Okay, then we will just end it here. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Ishita, again.
Thank you. I hope you guys, like, I hope I could be of some help.
Of course.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Now we
Okay.
end the meeting.